This video is on combining like terms. So a term can be any numbers, it can be variables, or numbers and variables multiplied together. Terms are separated by addition and subtraction, so I'm just going to list some terms. So a number. A term could be 10. You could have variables. You could just have x. Or you could have numbers and variables multiplied together. We could have 5x squared y. We could have 250 xy to the power of 4. So each of these individually is called a term. So if you have terms added or subtracted together, so let's do 3x plus 4y. So this is two terms, each one individually, they're separate, and they're just separated by addition in this case. So here is two terms. Okay. So if I have, let's do 3x squared plus 4y plus 7 minus w. Okay, each of these individually is called a term. So here we have 1, 2, 3, 4. So here there are 4 terms. All right, like terms have the same variables and exponents of the variables are the same. So like terms, if you have numbers, they're considered like terms because they don't have any variables. So let me just write out an expression. Let's do 3x plus 4 minus 7y plus 7x minus 3y plus 2 minus 4x squared. Okay, and I want to identify just in this whole thing what like terms I have. So they have to have the same variables as each other. Okay, so here's a 3x and here's this plus 7. I have to look at the operation that's in front of it so I know this 7x is positive. So 3x and 7x are like terms. This minus 4x squared, because the x is squared, it's not considered a like term over here. Okay, so I'm going to find some more like terms. Here we have a 4, plus 4 means it's positive, and a 2. Again, plus 2 means it's positive. So 4 and 2 are considered like terms. They don't have any variables. All right, here I have minus 7y. Minus, think of it as a negative because negative and minus mean pretty much the same thing. Here I have another y, so negative 3y. So negative 7y and negative 3y. So those are like terms. It doesn't matter that they're both negative. One could be negative, one could be positive, but they both have y as their variables. And the last one here, I have this minus 4x squared. That one's all by itself. It doesn't have anybody to buddy up with here because there aren't any other x squared terms. So these individually together are like terms. All right, coefficient. Coefficient is just a number multiplied by a variable. So say I had 4x. The coefficient in this case is 4. It's just the number multiplied by the variable. So anytime you have a number in front of a variable, it just means they're multiplied together. This is technically 4 times x. All right, let's try another one. Let's do 7y to the power of 3. Again, just look at the number that's multiplied by the variables. We have 7 in this case. So remember, this means 7 times y cubed, and y cubed is just y times y times y. Right, do one more. 18x squared y to the third, and 18 is the coefficient, the number that's multiplied by the variables. All right, so let's start looking at actually combining like terms. Let's zoom in a little bit. Okay, so this first one, we have 4x plus 4 minus x minus 8. You always have to pay attention to the plus or the minus that are in front of the terms. So I'm just going to look for my like terms. I have a 4x here, and I have a minus x. So those are like terms. If I have an x, I know there's one x there. So I'm going to put a 1 in front of it because this is the same thing as negative or minus 1x. So you can bring these down and just put them in parentheses together. So I have 4x minus 1x. Okay, plus I'm going to add on what I have left over. So over here, I have a plus 4, so positive 4, and a minus 8. So I'm just going to combine those like terms. I'm going to write it out so you can see what I'm doing. I have 4, it's positive, and minus 8. Okay, then I'm just going to combine. 4x minus 1x. I have 4 x's and I take 1 x away, so I'm left with 3 x's. And you can just take the coefficients and do 4 minus 1 gives you 3, and you know we're talking about x's, so just add the x on. So plus 4 minus 8, negative 4. And if I want to simplify this, I can simplify it to 3x minus 4 so that I can get rid of the plus and negative. And this is as reduced as it can get. You cannot combine an x term with a term without the same variable. All right, so let's try another one. We have 2x squared plus 6x minus 4x plus 5x squared. So we have x squared terms, 2x squared. This one does not have a squared, but then we have plus 5x squared. And over here, we have a plus or positive 6x and a minus 14x. So I'm just going to rewrite those below, put them together in parentheses. Remember, my parentheses are just kind of separating two things. Right now they don't mean much. It's just so I can group those like terms. So I have 2x squared, and I have a plus 5x squared. Okay, between the parentheses, I'm just going to put a plus because you can always add. It doesn't matter if the first term is positive or negative because you can always add on a positive or negative value. So I'm not worried about that. I'm just adding the like terms to the other like terms. So here we have 6x minus 14x. All right, so we have 2x squared plus 5x squared gives me 7x squared. Again, just add the coefficients. 2 plus 5 is 7, and we're talking about x squared. Plus 6x minus 14x leaves us with negative 8x. Again, if I want to reduce this, get it as simple as possible, I'm going to make this so it is 7x squared minus 8x. Either of these answers will work, but I like to have as few positive and negatives in there so I don't get confused. All right, and this is as simple as it can get. We cannot combine x squared with x. Yes, they both have x's, but this is actually x times x. So it's 2 x's multiplied together, where this just has 1 x multiplied by the coefficient. So they cannot be combined. All right, Let's try the next one. We have 3xy. We have a plus 5xy. Doesn't look like either are like terms, so the only ones we can combine are 3xy plus 5xy. I'm just going to bring the rest down because we have a y and a minus 2x. They're not like terms with anything, so they can't be combined. All right, 3xy plus 5xy. Remember, just combine the coefficients. 3 plus 5 is 8. xy plus y minus 2x. And that is the final answer. All right, a couple more. This one we have x squared terms and x terms. So I'm going to start with 3x squared, and I have a minus 8x squared. So 3x squared minus 8x squared plus, I have a minus or negative 2x minus 5x. Always include those positive and negatives in front, or the pluses and minus in front of the term. So plus negative 2x minus 5x. All right, 3x squared minus 8x squared. Well, 3 minus 8 gives me negative 5x squared. All right, I can bring down the plus, but I'm now seeing that I can, up here we could always simplify. So let's see if we can potentially simplify. Negative 2x minus 5x. Well, negative 2 minus 5 is negative 7, so negative 7x. Well, I can put plus negative 7x, or I can just put minus 7x. Means the same thing. If you want to put the plus, you can. Plus a negative. All right, 2 more, then I'll let you try some on your own. All right, so we have some y terms. Here we have 4y minus y. Remember I said before, if you have a y there, you have 1y, so it's minus 1y. Okay, so I'm going to bring that down. 4y minus 1y plus, here we have negative xy plus xy. Remember, if you have an xy, you have one xy there. And this is x and y multiplied together. Okay, bring that down. I have negative 2xy plus 1xy. All right. 4y minus 1y. 4 minus 1 is 3, so I have 3y plus, you can bring it down, or negative 2 plus 1, negative 1xy. Okay, just like up here, when you're simplifying the problem as much as possible, you don't need a 1 in front. If it's 1xy, it's the same thing as xy. So I am going to simplify this a little bit more by just getting rid of that 1. So I have 3y minus xy. And that would be my answer, reduced as much as possible. Okay, again, this would be correct, but this is reduced. All right, one more. Okay, so we have x's and y's. We have 4x plus x. I'm going to put a 1 there. So I have 4x plus 1x plus, we have a negative y minus 3y. Again, put a 1 in front of that y. So I have a negative 1y minus 3y. Okay, we have 4x plus 1x. 4 plus 1 is 5, so 5x plus negative 1y minus 3y. Negative 1 minus 3 is negative 4, so negative 4y. Again, I could put plus negative 4y, or I could just put minus 4y. And we cannot combine anymore because you can't combine x's and y's. They are not like terms. All right, so here's a couple for you to do. Go ahead and try them out and come on back for the answers. All right, so we have 3x minus 5x. We have a y all by itself, and we have a plus 3 and a minus 5. So 3x minus 5x plus y plus 3 minus 5. And remember, I put y by itself because it did not have any like terms. I did that before. So 3x minus 5x is negative 2x plus y. 3 minus 5 is negative 2. I could put plus negative 2 or just minus 2. Either answer works. All right, so we have y is 6y plus 3y minus 2 and plus 7. So 6y plus 3y plus a negative 2 plus 7. Remember that minus has to come down with a 2. All right, 6y plus 3y, 9y plus negative 2 plus 7 is 5. All right, last ones. Okay, we have a negative xy, negative 1xy, a negative 3xy, a plus 4y, and a plus 1y. So negative 1xy minus 3xy plus 4y plus 1y. All right. Okay, we have xy's here. So negative 1 minus 3 is negative 4xy plus 4 plus 1 is 5y. Okay, they do both have y's in them, but this one has x times y. And this one's just y, so we cannot combine them. All right, last one. Negative 3y plus 6y. And in the middle, we have a plus 5x and minus 7x. So I have a negative 3y plus 6y plus positive 5x minus 7x. All right, negative 3 plus 6 leaves me with positive 3y. 5x minus 7x is negative 2x. Instead of putting plus negative 2x, I'm just going to put minus 2x. And again, I cannot combine because you can't add or subtract x's and y's. They're not like terms. All right, hopefully you understand how to combine like terms.